Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I want to do another story about St. Louis and the new mayor that's in office. The previous mayor, we had an historical representation in that Tashara Jones, the ex-mayor who lost to Cara Spencer, was the first black female mayor in St. Louis's history. And now we have a new mayor who was a previous alderwoman named Mayor Cara Spencer. But before we get into Cara Spencer, let's mention a little bit about the ex-mayor Tashara Jones and maybe why she lost. I personally think that Tashara did a pretty good job. I just don't think she did enough. I think there is a heavier burden on black politicians and definitely black mayors in these major cities that we have to do more. The old mantra that we have to be 2 to 4 times better than other folks, I think carries a lot of weight and a heavy burden. I would have liked to have seen more businesses, grand openings, funding that had should have been in North St. Louis and or throughout the city. I don't think I saw it enough, or we saw it enough when Tashara Jones was in office. Also, I think black folks in the city of St. Louis did not go out and vote in the ballot box in outstanding numbers to support Tashara Jones. Is not just her responsibility, but it's also the responsibility of the citizens to vote. There was a very, very low voter turnout, especially in the African American community, to support Tashara for a second term. But you have to remember, during her first term, not only was she the first black female mayor, but the city of St. Louis was represented by black females very well. You had Darlene Green, who was a city comptroller, who had been there in that position for over 20 years. And you also had Cori Bush, who was a U.S. Congresswoman who served, black female U.S. Congresswoman who served one term, and she beat a family whose name had been in Congress for many, many years. Started out with Bill Clay, and then his son Lacy Clay had been a congressman for St. Louis, representing St. Louis for many, many years. And then Cori Bush came out of nowhere and upended Lacy Clay's seat, and she became a one-term congresswoman. So at one time we had Tashara Jones as the mayor, black female. You had Darlene Green as the comptroller, and you had Cori Bush as a black female U.S. Congresswoman. So we've had black politicians in very high positions, not only in St. Louis, but throughout the country. You have Brandon Johnson, who's the mayor of Chicago. You got Eric Adams, who's the mayor of New York. And you have Miss Bass, who is the mayor of Los Angeles. So we have several black individuals, and definitely black women, even as U.S. attorneys throughout the country that have very, very high positions. The U.S. attorney in New York City is Letitia James, and of course you have Fannie Willis down in Fulton County, Georgia. So there is a spotlight that's being shown for black female politicians, and there's a responsibility and accountability that goes with it. Well, Tashara lost, trying to go for a second term, and now we have this young lady Mayor Cara Spencer, who was sworn in on April the 15th, 2025. And she went on her mission statement was that she believes that the city government must provide basic city services, reliable public safety, and a path for growth. That was kind of what she went on. Her mission was, and when she was having her debates with Deshaun Jones, and then she ended up winning. So, what has happened in the last 75 days since Cara Spencer has been in office? Well, we know she went in April 15th, 2025. She was sworn in April 15th. And 1 month later, we had this devastating tornado that ravaged through the city of St. Louis, $1.6 billion worth of damage. Over 8,000 buildings have been damaged, destroyed. Several people have been displaced, even homeless. And what has been done since then? And as a citizen of St. Louis, there are some things that I would like to mention that I think several or many people see that needs to be done. And Cara Spencer talked about it in her debates. And has anything been done in the first 70 days? Well, one of the things is the pothole situation. There are an innumerable amount of potholes in the city of St. Louis. I mean, it is unbelievably ridiculous. Not only is it dangerous for your car, it could be dangerous for you as a driver. And I haven't seen anything done about it. And Mayor Cara Spencer talked about it, yelled about it in her debates. And what has she done? We have to hold our politicians accountable. Here again, I just think with Deshaun, who was the ex-mayor, it was her race to lose and not Cara Spencer's to gain. And I just don't think that Deshaun did enough. She did okay, but here again, we have to be 2 to 4 times better in order to maintain our seat. But are we going to let Cara Spencer off the hook? The potholes have not been addressed at all. There is a huge disparity between driving in the city of St. Louis and driving in St. Louis County, where there are smooth pavements. You don't have the bumpiness, the erratic driving. You can tell a complete difference. It's like driving into another state. Why is that? Why does St. Louis County have smooth pavements and St. Louis City has bumpy pothole roads and streets? That is a real issue. Why are there so many people driving with temp tags? That is a real issue. Unnecessary speeding on streets like Page, Grand, Kings Highway. She talked about this in her debate, that people are literally using their vehicles in a dangerous, threatening way, which is a threat to public safety. She talked about public safety. Well, what has been done about it? We know the city of St. Louis is down about 400 to 500 police officers. There's an understaffing there. There needs to be an uptick in policing for public safety reasons. The roads need to be repaired and fixed. The crazy driving needs to be curtailed. Highway 70 from downtown to the airport is like the Indianapolis 500. Highway 44 is very similar. Highway 40 also is very similar, going from the city to 270, or at least to 170. Once they start approaching St. Louis County, occasionally you will see a St. Louis County police officer, but I don't see any policing on Highway 70, Highway 44. Remember, for years you would see Highway Patrol, or you would see St. Louis City police officers on the side of the road doing traffic stops or for speeding, and you don't see any of it as a result. And I think some of this, uh, uh, some of the pre- uh, precipitous precipice to this had to do with, of course, the Mike Brown situation, um, the George Floyd situation, Black Lives Matter, and then, of course, COVID. That kind of shut down the proactive policing throughout this city and many cities around us. And we need to get back to public safety being something that should be at the top of the agenda for the city of St. Louis. Uh, Running red lights and stop signs in the city. It's almost as if we don't even need red lights or stop signs. People are just driving through them. There was an issue where they had stopped using cameras on the stoplight on the lights. They had stopped using issuing tickets based on camera footage from the lights, the red, green, and yellow lights. That stopped, so people are just driving through the street lights like nobody's business. Accidents and speeding has gone through the roof. Um, you'll also see on 270 in North County, driving like it's the Indianapolis 500. If you go from North County to Dorset, or crossing Highway 70, then you will start seeing police officers sitting on the side, stopping folks in Maryland Heights, all the way to Highway 40. So from 70 to 40, going across 270, you will see some policing taking place, and people are paying more attention and not driving as reckless. So none of those things have been done. And then she gets hit with this tornado, and we have to see what's going to take place with helping people restore and refurbish their homes. There's been a lot of talk and verbiage. She did a lot of shouting and yelling during the debate. And what is she going to do? There is a major homeless situation that's taking place in the city of St. Louis. There's an encampment of 46 people where Elliot Davis has done several stories on his Facebook channel issuing help for these individuals in that encampment, and Cara Spencer's office hasn't done anything there. She must be held accountable as our mayor.